All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday broadcast. We are back. Today we have an exciting one. We're going to have Andy Owings in the house. He's going to show us how he trades and, everything about his Vol Pro Edge indicators and all that good stuff. He'll be coming in later during the day. But in the meantime, how is everyone doing? Let's get those charts ready and pulled up. All right. Let's make sure everything is going well. Everything looks good. Let me double check something. I just want to make sure that the stream is running smoothly. But you guys let me know how you doing? How are you doing? How are you feeling? How was your trading day? Did you trade at all this morning? Let me just make sure we are good to go. All right. Nice. My man Stuart is in the house as usual. Good after it's good morning for me, but good afternoon to you. I know you're watching us from Spain. So how did your day go yesterday? Were you able to catch any moves on the NQ on the or the ES? I know that's what you trade. Let me know in the chat. Let me know. All right. We're ready to go. We had some news this morning. We had, let's pull up the news. All right. Today's Thursday. So, building permits. What interests me is the jobless claims. Where is it? I just saw it a few minutes ago. There we go. Continuing, initial jobless claims was 213 versus a consensus of 215. We saw a very subdued reaction in the market. Let's look at the Qs. So the news came out right here, 8:30, right here. Let's just zoom in. Yeah. So the news came out right here. We had a quick reaction here, but nothing major. So we'll see once we open what happens. Stuart says he spent the afternoon back testing. All right. Nice. Well, that's good to hear. Back testing is always something one wants to do. Actually, I have a continuous back test running on TradingView for my trading, so maybe I'll show you guys in a few. And I'm not a programmer, but I have it running all the time. So I'm just yeah. All right, I was just checking something real quick right now. All right, we're good to go. Yeah, so I have a continuous backtest running all the time on TradingView. Actually, let me just show you this way. You could have an idea. Not an expert programmer, but where is it? Oh, there it is. All right, so I usually prefer to run it on the Qs, and it is on. So I have it's called Trendline Breakout Strategy, long only. So that's for longs. So far, so far it's telling me that 42% profitable trades, profit factor is 1.3. Well, the equity and P&L doesn't matter. It's mostly these numbers I'm looking at. So for the past 40 trades, it's triggered 40 times. These have been the results. So the strategy is basically a trend line breakout. That is my favorite setup. So let's see if we had a trigger. All right, we had a trigger yesterday. So on the 5 minute, for example, let me put the trend lines. So you're seeing a lot of stuff here, but um, basically, how it triggers is you see two lines here. Once this line gets broken and this candle closes, that's the signal to enter, and it enters on the open of the next candle. Then it's going to hold for the next 15 bars. So for the next 90 minutes, because I don't have a better way of programming it. And it'll give me the results. So I run this, this is always running in the background. And this way I can come back to it and see, okay, how are my longs running on the 5 minute time frame? How profitable are we? What's the profit factor, et cetera, et cetera. And if I see this go down, then I adjust my discretionary trading in relation to that. And I also have a similar setup for shorts now. What the great thing about this is I'm looking at it on a 5 minute time frame. And by the way, it's running on the cues just because it's clearer for me, and it only runs between 8:30 a.m. and midday. I think I had changed the time. I should look at the code. Let me look at the code real quick. Let's pull up the code. So yeah, I have it running from 9:20. Sorry, I thought it was 8:30. I had changed it from 9:20 until 11. So it's not going to take any trades after that. So that's the code. And I have that continuously running. And I'm not a programmer. I just programmed all this. I have very limited knowledge, and I programmed all this with those large language models. I used a couple of them, grabbed a few snippets of codes here and there. The trend line generator thingy is not mine. It's something I found. So yeah, I would probably want to have a better setup for exits. So I'll figure that out eventually in the future. Now, if we zoom out and we go a 15 minute, we can see, well, we were less profitable if we were taking trades on the 15 minute. So what that tells me is, hey, you should be holding your trades for less time, right? And then because the profit factor right now for the last 40 trades was 1. So if my 5 minute trades, usually I bounce from 5 to 15. Let's see, 30 minutes. We had 70 trigger, profit factor 1.3. Okay. But usually I bounce from 5 to 15. And if the 5 is looking better than the 15, then I'm holding trades for a shorter time frame. And if it's the 15 is showing better results, then I'm holding them longer. So I don't know if you saw all that stored. Let me know if that gave you some insights. But that's the automatic, continuous back testing that I have rolling there. Now, there was a second entry there that didn't work. I guess I was a trend line there. Yeah, exactly. So it took it on the red candle and it stopped out. So, oh yeah, it stops out. The stop goes right below the entry candle. So yeah, if that doesn't work, then I'll get stopped out. Let's see some other triggers. That was a trigger on the 10th. Let's see if we got another trigger. Whoa, you see? Got stopped out there. You said I'm just writing the Pine script for LDN sweep or continuation in the New York Open, first 30 minutes, NQ and ES. Nice. Well, let me know how that goes. Let me know what results you see. So usually back in the day, well, back not too long ago, maybe a year or two ago, I used to do my back testing manually, and that was tedious. And I don't know, it's not ideal. So I think if you can use software is always better because then you're sure you have results that are repeatable and completely non-discretionary. Let's look at the shorts. This is the long setup. Let's look at the shorts and the results. So on the 5 minute, well, the shorts were not as profitable. Wow, we had a lot of triggers. We had 187 triggers on the 5 minute, 28% and a zero point 0.9 profit factor, which means we don't want to be shorting. So that tells me, be less aggressive on the shorts, maybe consider the longs. Since my trading is mostly discretionary, I use this as a gauge. Let's look at the 15. So, okay, so what that tells me is holding shorts for longer would be better. So on the 15, we have more positive results. 1.3, which is pretty similar to the longs. So that tells me also that we are in a sideways market, right? When we have shorts, the profit factor for the shorts similar to the profit factor for the longs, that's what it tells me. All right. Let's see. Storage says I spent days and weeks on Excel recording trades to discard them back in the day. To then discard them back in the day. Yes, I can relate to that. I have my Excel sheets as well, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from that. It's tedious work, and sometimes you do a bunch of back testing for nothing. It's hard to change your results, but you do what you have to do in this game. Okay, so let's get this out of there. um Back testing is always an interesting topic for me. I know Daniel, if he comes in later, Daniel is a great programmer. Maybe I'll have Daniel help me with more complex strategies that I want to actually back test. So maybe it'll help me there. All right. So back to the indices. Let's go. We're going to look at everything one by one. And we're going to see what we can get into today. I took a quick short this morning, full disclosure. Where was it? Oh, sorry. Took a quick short here as we were breaking down, just in and out, just to have some padding for our risk today. So we're going to see where the Nasdaq is going to take us. So I did not put my inflection points yet. All right, so this is where our POC is, so point of control. So we're going to get that right here. Interesting. Yesterday, I had put this as an area of interest, and we tapped in to that level after the Asian Open, this area of interest here, because I don't know if you guys remember yesterday when we were talking, I said, well, I want to see if during the session, which didn't happen during the session, it happened after, we can get back to this area of interest, which is more or less the middle of this huge move right there. And yeah, we tapped into this area, went lower, touched support here, and right now we're moving lower. So we will see what happens. Let me just all right. Let us see. So moving down on the Nasdaq right now. Let's just take a quick look again. So let's take a quick look at the ES. All right, we're moving down nicely. Means my short entry this morning was a good one, but I did not hold because I want to I want to be taking my trades live in front of you guys for the most part. So our point of control is up there and we're moving down. It looks like we're pretty bearish today so far. We'll see if we can hold some of these levels. If not, we'll probably be going lower. All right, we got about 15 minutes until the open. Remember, guys, say hello. Tell us where you're trading from. I know we got Spain in the house as usual. All right, we'll see what happens here on the ES. And then Daniel's not here, but we'll look at the Dow. Huh. All right, Dow moving. The Dow, shorting the Dow has been interesting lately. If you've been shorting the Dow, you've probably been profiting nicely because the Dow has given us some decent trends, decent moves. So for anybody shorting the Dow, that has been interesting. All right, let's look at our friend gold. So we're still holding below my inflection area over here around the 5200s. So let me just move this here so you can see it clearer. We're still holding below this 5200 line and the 5100 line. So it's going to be interesting to see what the asset decides to do. We're kind of in this, like I was mentioning yesterday, we're kind of in this holding pattern where we're trading this, between the tops and the bottoms of this 100-point range. Here we touch the middle of the range. Here we're slightly rejecting under it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with gold. I don't know if we're gonna hold this pattern for the rest of the week and then shift next week. Maybe you know, asset managers and fund managers and all these guys are waiting to see what happens in the Middle East before, they make more aggressive moves in the metals. But we'll see what happens. Right now we are in a holding pattern in my opinion. So not huge moves. Any gold traders in the house, let me know in the chat. Remember to like, remember to subscribe. Um, and let us know what you think about gold. So far, in my opinion, a holding pattern. Let me look at my other chart here. For gold, I have a longer term chart on trading view. Let's look at the 4 hour. Yeah, I have Epic Fury that starts here. So yeah, I had this inflection zone marked out way back in February, and we are exactly in the area. This is, for me, this is no man's land. This is where you do not. You do not want to be aggressive. You want to wait and see what happens. And I think everybody is in wait and see mode. We kind of stepped up a little bit. So if we're able to maybe continue in this fashion, right, then we'll probably be getting some results. But if on the other hand we reject here, because here we had we had a previous rejection. So if instead we move like this and then we tap back down into the mid range, maybe retest this, continue to move down, and we move in these slow, you know, this slow range, we'll see how long we spend in this area. So about 10 minutes to the open, we'll see what happens. So yesterday we gave some advice on how to trade during times of war. We gave 10 10 things you should do, and I'll briefly touch on these. The first thing I want to say, the first thing I want to recommend, because we're talking about, how do you trade war volatility? Well, the first thing I recommend is to size down, right? Um if you look at my trading right now on the assets, first of all, I'm trading micros. I'm not trading the bigger contracts. Second of all, I'm trading tiny size, I am trading just single contracts. All right, we're moving nicely down on the cues. So this is looking nice. We'll see if we get a setup there. But yeah, I think the first thing one should do is reduce your size. Reduce your size, remove some of that stress, because like I mentioned yesterday and the days before, the ranges have expanded. Let's if we look at oil, right? If we zoom out completely on oil, I want you to see the difference in the ranges. So this was the week prior. So the war started here over the weekend. They were smart about it because they made it happen during the weekend. So the event started right here, and then we gapped up on Sunday, right? If you look at this range right here, we can measure it. If I go from top to bottom, okay, that is a 2.70 more or less. If I go all the way down, yeah, it's less than a 3 point range. But if you're looking at, daily moves, you're looking at about a point 20, point 45 max. That's the range we were having in these areas right here. Now, once the war broke out, look at how much the range has changed, right? Look at how we went from a point to maybe a whole range of 4 points, like we just saw, to right now. Well, not right now, back there, 5 points. So 5 to 6 times the average. If you measure this, 6 points. And then if we continue and we move on to now, right? The ranges have completely expanded. If you were trading in this area right there, this is a 25 point range, right? So if you're trading a one CL contract, you're risking $1,000 a point. Multiply that by however many points you want, you can see how much risk you're putting on. Now, if you're a huge size trader, props to you. You could keep trading that and trade those huge moves. But if you're a cautious trader, you want to reduce your size. And if you're trading the indices, the ES and the NQ, like I know a lot of us are, even those, the range is expanded. We saw it's been slowing down right now, but we saw, let me go to a daily chart. So if we're looking in this area right there, right, we had 300, 350, maybe 400 point days. And then once we got to here after the war, we expanded to double the range. We saw, 700 point days, 600 point days. And this right here was 1,000 point day. Yeah, 1,061 more or less. So the range expanded, and you have to be careful. Right now, we've started to we started contracting again. So 371. Yesterday was about 300 points. Today, we'll see how much the range expands or contracts. But the first thing you do when there is war, when there is uncertainty, is reduce your trading size, man. I mean, there's no point in taking unnecessary losses. So that's the first thing you want to do. Second thing I touched on yesterday is that old adage of buy the rumor and sell the news. Let me show you another thing on oil. So there was a tweet by Mr. I forgot his name. Let me look up the name real quick. Um, I want to get this right. Let me look up this name because he works in the US government. He's a public official. So we can put him on the spot. There we go. Secretary Chris Wright. Secretary Chris Wright made a tweet at approximately 1:14 p.m. saying that the US Navy had successfully escorted an oil tanker through the Strait of Hormuz, right? And if I'm not mistaken, it was around here, right? Well, if you depending on how you were positioned on that day and based on that rumor, you could have gotten hurt because if you bought here, you would have gotten stopped out before things reversed. I think it was at 114. Yeah, let me go. I want to get this right. 114. Yeah, it was 12:45. There we go. One. So around here is where he tweeted, and things moved down significantly before they reversed up. So you want to be careful when things are iffy like that. All right. So advice we gave was to be careful with the news, right? So first thing you want to do is reduce your position size. Second thing you want to do is, and you could see it in my back test, you have to shorten your holding times. Things are not necessarily trending as well as they usually do, at least intraday, right? So you want to be careful with that. 3 minutes till the open. We're gonna see how the cues react. If we get a quick, if we get a nice rejection and we tap into this area right there, maybe I'll consider a long. We'll see. We'll see how we react. We had some decent volume right there, so we'll see how we react in this area. All right, Daniel made it. Good day to you as well, sir. We took a quick look at the YM, and we said shorting it would have been a nice one this morning if somebody caught it. You had about well, from peak to bottom, you had about a 300 point move there. So even if you didn't catch all of it, it was a nice move. 200 points there. Right before the news came out around here. Nothing major in terms of moves. So we'll see. All right, let's go back on the NQ. I didn't catch that, by the way. I'm just saying if somebody caught it, would have been a good one. I only had a quick scalp around here. Didn't hold because I didn't want to hold into the news. I didn't know how those jobless claims were gonna affect the market. So yeah. All right, we'll see. All right, I see a question there. We got Butterkeeper saying, "Does the Fivers Futures offer any discount coupons? I missed the early bird 50% promotion during Chinese New Year while I was on vacation." All right, Butterkeeper. Well, first of all, congrats. We are happy you were on vacation. By the way, 1 minute till the open. We're gonna see what happens there. We well, first of all, we had the early bird special for the early bird, so a lot of people who signed up there got that discounted price. But We from time to time run promotions during events and things like that, things of that nature. We don't have a promotion running right at the moment, but follow our socials, stay active on the Discord, and you'll know when something's coming. You'll know when we have promotions. But right now, we are not running promotions at the moment. We did for a while we were launching. A lot of people were able to take advantage of that, but stay attentive, and when something comes up, well, we you'll be the first to know. And keep watching the live, because we will definitely be showcasing the promotions on the live channel once we have them. All right. Let me know, guys. Let me know where you're watching from. I know we have Spain in the house, many people in Europe. Yesterday, we had people from all over. We had people from India. We had people from China. We had people from South America, so Chile. We had people from everywhere, from the States. So always nice to see. It's great to have a worldwide community watching us. All right, we're seeing a really nice reaction here on the cues. Let's take a quick look at the YM, seeing a nice sell off here as well. So continuation of the sell off we saw yesterday. We got Sweden in the house. Nice, 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 nice. YM drop on M5. This may be a setup. I'll let you know. All right, let me know. Let me know. That trade I took yesterday was I used you as my indicator to take the trade. Because you were short and then you told me you exited, and that was my guide. I was like, okay, there's gonna be some rotation on the NQ. Right, where was it? It was right here. Let's go on a shorter time frame. Come on, chart. Yeah, so you told me, I think around here, that you were exiting, and I was like, okay, since we saw weakness on the Dow, we're probably going to see a little bit of a pullback on the Nasdaq, and I entered short here, and I think I covered somewhere around here. I didn't get my full TP at that line, but it was good. And then I hesitated on that reversal, didn't take it, but I lost this. This was a nice, I think, 100 plus, yeah, 140 point move. So we didn't take that one. And with Steve later on, I had another short somewhere around here and got out right before that reversal. So, we took some quick scalps. I'm not holding long because, as I was showing on my back test this morning, my back testing on TradingView is telling me not to hold things for long. So that's what we're doing. We're not holding things for too long unless they cooperate quickly. Um, if we cooperate quickly, then we hold. If not, we don't. So I have my area of interest since yesterday, and it's nice that we are exactly in there. Oh, okay. Buyers are stepping in. Buyers are starting to step in. We're going to put my area of interest another color. Let's make it pink. No, not hot pink. We'll make it pink pink. There we go. So our area of interest is here. Buyers have started stepping in. We want to make sure that this is not a false reversal. So if I'm considering entering this, let's look at the peaks right there. This is an interesting setup for me. We're going to see how aggressive the buyers are. So why I use these lines, you see this little angle right there? How it shows me this little angle? For me, this is a reference on the real trend, right? There's less noise and I can find my direction here, and then I go back to the candles, and then I can move my lines around however I want. If I want to put them on the wicks, then I can put them there. I don't use the standard technical analysis format of just finding. Usually you have to find two wicks, so you would use this wick and then maybe this wick to trace your lines. To me, that's not as accurate. That's what I've found works for me at least. And we are seeing a little bit of a reaction here. It's trying to push, but not yet. So we'll see. We'll see what happens if we are able to push above this. And then, as usual, for my ORB, opening range breakout traders, we will make that first opening range box for you guys so we can see what happens. All right. Daniel says 9:30 YM traders always get in trouble because it does some weird 200 point before setting direction. If setup happens, that seems to never end. Okay. And then Daniel lets us know YM failed, no setup yet. No setup yet. Okay, no setup on YM. Very good. No setup yet either for me on the Qs. Let's look at the ES. Maybe we'll put a little trend line there also. So overall, if we zoom out, let's look at a 4 hour chart. So on the 4 hour, by the way, for I want to show you guys something. If you want to find time frames, you could put like 40, and then it's going to show you 40 minutes. So 4 hours, 240, 240, and then you click there. So all you do to find that is click spacebar, and then you could find whatever you're looking for. Whether it's ticks. I think if I put like 500, yeah, it'll show me, for example, a 500 tick chart. You got a Renko, whatever you want to find, it's there. So I really like that about Black Arrow. So yeah, we had the move up there, and then we're doing a slight pullback. So what we're trying to find out, at least for me, is okay, is this a so we had the move up, and it's similar for all the indexes for me. So we had the move up, now we're pulling back. So if we do that, so we're trying to find out, okay, is this a pullback where we're going to continue higher, or are we going to tap into lower levels of liquidity before moving back up? So that's what I'm trying to find out. That's why I'm being cautious. We don't know yet which direction we are going to go in. All right, so let's zoom in. This is a 4 hour chart. Let's look at a daily really quick. All right, so we're moving down. We've been moving down for the past 3 days. So, do we want to go find these levels here, levels of liquidity lower here, or are we going to be able to hold higher? This is what we need to find out. All right, on the daily, we're looking at our low volume node here. So, no bias for me, really. We're just going to look at setups and take whatever makes sense. Point of control here. We're above the point of control. All right, nice. Buyers are starting to step in, at least on the ES. Let's roll. Let's take a quick look at the YM. All right, we're stepping in as well. He says, YM, you could see how on H1 sit at daily low. To be a setup, we must have a significant wick on the 5 minute below the daily, but that never happened. So probably going lower. I'll hold my horses today. Rules broken. All right, nice. So let's look at the hourly, like Daniel says. All right, so we could see how on the hourly we sit at the daily low. So we're going to mark this. We're sitting in this area right here. And then we're going to go to the daily. We can't. Okay, so the level we're getting is 46,933. And then if we go on the hourly, where is it? 46,933. Yes, we're indeed sitting at the daily low. To be a setup, we must have a significant wick on the 5 minute. So we'll go to the 5 minute. He says to be a setup, we want to have a significant wick on the 5 minute right there. But that never happened, so probably going lower. So yeah, so what Daniel is saying is maybe if we had a significant, wick on this candle with buyers stepping in on high volume, that would be a sign of a reversal, and then maybe he would consider entering along there. I think that's what you're trying to say, right? For it to be a setup. So he's probably telling us right now that this is not a true reversal, and maybe we will rotate lower. We don't know. Again, it's all about probabilities when we're trading. So we will see whether that happens or not. So we're seeing, all right, I got it right, correct. So this is very similar to what I look for in my trading. A rejection, maybe I could find a specific example. Let's see if I could get one. Well, we have one, but we have one on the other side. So what Daniel is talking about, think about this chart but upside down. So here we had a move up, we had a significant wick here. So we had a significant wick right here yesterday, sorry, right here. With volume, you could see the volume there, and that was the sign of the reversal. And you could see that 5, 10, about 15 minutes later, we reversed and went to the other side and went back to test those pre-market lows. So that is what he is looking for on the YM to be able to go long. And definitely he is right so far. If we're looking at the Qs right now, we seem to want to continue lower, and we haven't been able to reverse for longs. So we had a significant amount of volume here, and we're still waiting to see what is going to happen. Remember, guys, remember to like, remember to subscribe if you're not, and remember to hit that notification bell for us to always show up on your feed so you can watch us daily. So for my opening range breakout traders, so far this is the opening range. Let's go to a 15-minute really quick. This is our range so far. Let's see in terms of size how much it is. It's about, yeah, it's about 100-point range on the Qs. Let's look at the ES. This is the range right now, and interestingly enough, we are in my buy area in the ES, but it might be a fake one, so not entering just yet. We haven't seen what we want to see. That is the example of what Daniel is talking about. We had a wick there. That would be an interesting wick to me, but we had no follow through, right? So if we were flipping bullish, this candle should have probably closed higher, right? And then this next candle should have continued and closed even higher than the previous one for this to be, somewhat of a valid long entry. Right now, we are continuing to move lower. All right. Okay, so we're continuing that move lower. No real signal for me. Trendline traders could have entered short maybe around here. VWAP traders could have probably entered short same around here because we were so somebody was asking yesterday why my VWAP and their VWAP didn't have similar numbers. So what I did is, let me show you. Let me delete this right now and let me do this on over here. So my VWAP is orange and it starts at midnight. What you can do is, well, you can modify this, but I prefer to keep it at midnight because you could see how it's giving nice entry signals here that I'm not taking, but entry signals for VWAP traders. What you can do is you could use the anchored VWAP tool, click here, and then you can anchor it wherever you want. So if you want to anchor it at 6 p.m., 1800 hours, you could move it right at the start of the session there. And you would have your VWAP starting, at the start of the open right there, Asian Open. Of course, it's going to give you different numbers, right? And you could see that for using VWAP in this way, and of course, you could modify the settings. This is high, low, close divided by 3, position, blah, blah, blah. You do whatever you want. Whoa, we are moving down significantly here. Nice move down into the 2700s. So my area of interest did not hold. Daniel is saying YM did equal lows, perfect reason to dump it below to grab liquidity. Yes, I think they're grabbing liquidity around here. Let's take a quick look at our volume profile. Yes, we are in this area here. So we'll see what happens there. We're probably going to drop down to the lower time frames to see. And maybe we'll think of entering a long here to catch a possible reversal. And then if we catch the reversal, so if we see that that quick rejection that Daniel is talking about, with a significant wick and a reversal, then we'll catch it. If not, this is probably going to be, a dead cat bounce, like they say, and continue lower. So no bias for now. We'll see. Opening range breakout traders. This has been the opening range in the first 15 minutes. So all the way to 9:45. So, if you're shorted that breakout there, well, props is on you. And you could probably be considering, if we're shooting for the same range, something around there and right before it touches these lows. So we'll see what happens. Depending on how this low holds, then we'll decide, are we going to take a quick reversal long? All right, we're seeing this wick right there. This is what we want to see. We're seeing some buying activity starting. This is good. Hopefully it's not a false one. Let me look at something really quick. You guys know I like to look at my advanced decline. Let's look at the other stocks real quick. Let's go, 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 go. Apple, Nvidia. All right. Let's look at the VIX. VIX is high. All right, we're ticking up. We'll give it a little bit more before we consider entering. Let's put this on a lower time frame. We'll see maybe on the second candle if it's not a false one. So this is, significant volume. We'll see. All right. Let's see if it gets me in. And let's see if that can hold. All right. I only got one contract. Didn't get both of them. But that's what I was looking for. We saw the rejection. Now we want this to hold and we want this to move up fast. If it does not move up fast, then it is invalidated. All right, we're seeing some selling pressure. Let's see how well this reacts and if we can get a move higher. All right, buyer stepping in. Unfortunately, I only got one contract. I had put a purchase for two contracts, but only got one. And we'll see how long we hold this for. So far, it's working really nicely in our favor. We want to probably target these previous lows. Sorry, previous highs. So let's see what happens there. Okay. 10 minutes until 10 o'clock. Let's look at the 5. So we'll leave the two open side by side. We'll put a 5-minute on the right. And we will put a 1-minute on the left. All right, it looks like they are, wow, they're selling really fast. So I don't want to hold this one for too long. It's probably going to be a 1-to-1. We'll see. And then I'm going to trail this one. Come on, guys. Let's push up. We might have had an early entry there. And again, we don't want to hold too long. We don't want to hold until that 10 o'clock open. Okay, we're seeing wicks there. So there's selling pressure. This is what's it called? This is a decent break and retest setup for opening range breakout traders. That's why I got out. Right. So break here. We got the break. We got the retest. And we might continue lower. So we're going to consider maybe taking a short. Let's see on the higher time frame. And I'm moving around too much. All right, we'll see. All right. We got our first short. And we'll see if this continues lower. I'm sorry, Daniel is saying H4 closing 11 minutes. As possible bearish engulfing on YM. This is not a good sign to buy. Yeah, so that's why I got in and then I got out real quick because we didn't follow through there. So really short hold times for me. I'm trailing. I'm not staying long. I'm not taking unnecessary losses. We don't want this to hold. We want this to drop really fast. So we want this to continue. And we'll shoot for another 100 points if we can make that happen. This has to drop pretty fast. The 10 o'clock is going to open in 7 minutes. So again, I'm trailing stops. This is a challenge account, so we don't need to take unnecessary losses. We're scalping. That gives us the ability to get in, get out really quick, and take our profits. We don't want to overstay our welcome. Let's see if we get some follow through right here. Let's look at what this looks like on the 5-minute. This looks like good on the 5-minute. All right, but now heading to H1 YM, we have this wig, but H1 has very specific rules. It has to close at H1 above 930 high wick. This is crucial. My stats say is do or die by doing that. Okay. So I'm trailing this. Um, it's possible this was a liquidity grab. We need follow through on this candle. Let's open it up really quick. Let's look at the previous level. So yeah, we might be grabbing liquidity. And so far, let's see how much of a move we've done on the opening range. Yeah, so there's a little bit more room to move down, but we might not get it. Let me just put myself above this here. So yeah, so as we enter this area, we'll consider a covering, and if not, we'll get stopped out in profit. Really quick scalp. um, let's switch this to points because I want to see how many points we're in. 38 points, 40 points. Would be nice if we could get that 100 pointer or at least close to it. We'll see. All right, we're moving down nicely. We got 5 minutes until 10 o'clock. Thanks for the inputs, Daniel. So far, we're looking good. All right, we are at the level where if I was doing an opening range breakout, I would be taking profits. So we'll continue to trail this down. Let's keep on trailing this down. Let's see if we get it for the chat. I'll leave this right here. All right, I'll take a look at YM in a few. All right, this is where I would be taking profits. So I'm just going to close this right here. And yeah, we got it. That is a perfect example of a break and retest trade, right? So and this might continue lower, right? Um, so the logic here is what we had our opening range, which is this box right here. 9:30. All right. So from 9:30 to about 9:45, where is it? 9:45. This is a perfect example of an opening range breakout. And I think I'll probably do uh, a class on that one because that was a great setup. Very great setup for a quick scalp. You know, if you got it on time, you got, let me see, it's probably a 50-point win. Oh, not if you got it on time, you got a 90. You could have gotten 100 points out of that one. So 100 points is a great trade, in my opinion. So yeah, we had our range be set right here, right? How much of a range was this? This was almost 100-point range. So 100 points there and then another 100 points there, guys. This is like so mathematical, so surgical. And this might continue and give us another 100 or maybe half of the range, another 50 points down. We'll see. Um I did not have the patience to wait for this to continue there because it's going to be 10 o'clock and I do not like to hold trades unless I'm well in profit. I do not like to hold trades into the hourly open or hourly close, right? So, perfect example. We get the breakout of the opening range, right? So, that is the break. Sorry. We got the break right there, and then we get the retest right there, and then that previous level gets flipped on its head, and then we move back down. This is what I like about trading. This is exciting. This is exciting. I like it, and I like the fact that we were able to grab at least part of it, right? We tested our theory that okay, we had our wick, like we were talking about, Daniel. We were possibly reversing. So, check number one, we had our wick. Check number two, we had our volume increase. Check number three, we had a candle go, over the previous candle. So, we entered here and we were looking for a move all the way back up to here. Now, we were also conscious that this was a possible break and retest of the opening range. So we decided to exit right there and to go back in short. I should have actually just flipped my position there. And then we got the nice, beautiful move there. Now, this is probably going to continue lower, and that's totally fine. Our setup was targeting these initial lows. And I remember I talked about it previously. I was like, hey, if I'm going to get out, I'm going to get out around these levels. And we got out exactly there. So beautiful, 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 beautiful example of an opening range breakdown. And for the way I trade, this was great. Now, hey, you see, this is look at how surgical, look at how precise this was, guys. We have buyers stepping in right at those levels. Whoa, sorry, right at those levels. Look, we got out there and this is reversing. This is great, guys. I love when trading works out like this. I love when trading works out like this. Got me excited. This is a nice way to start the day today. Let me know in the chat if you caught something. Let's look at the YM because Daniel's been talking about the YM. I've just gotten excited about how nice this setup was on the NQ. This is great. We're not going to catch this reversal, unfortunately, but this was nice, man. This was nice. Let's look at the YM. So Daniel said now heading to H1. Sorry. Yeah, now heading to H1. We have the wick, but H1 has very specific rules. It has to close at H1 above 930. High wick. This is crucial. My stats say it is do or die doing that. Okay. So let's try to see what Daniel is saying right there. Let's go to the hourly on the YM. Okay. So we have the H1. We have the wick. Okay. So we got the wick. Let's mark out these levels. So here is the close. Okay, and then we have the open up there. So let's go down to a 5 minute, like Daniel said. He says we have the wick, but it has to close. Wait, it has to close an H1 above 930 high wick. This is crucial. Okay, so I guess what you're saying is that we get the move down, we get the wick. So I guess this is what you're saying. 945, we got this low wick there, which is not significant enough for me, but okay. And are you saying that this candle should have closed? Oh, sorry. Are you saying that this candle should have closed higher? Maybe that's what he's saying. But anyways, this means that this was not a good signal, a good entry for you, and that's perfectly fine. Um, we probably tapped into liquidity for the NQ. Let's go back to the 5 minutes. Sorry, the MNQs. This was probably the liquidity grab, and we are reversing well. We are doing here what I thought we were going to probably do here. So we'll see what happens. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a fake out, and we're going to continue lower. We don't know, but we will see. We will see what happens. So I've taken my 2 trades for the day. I tell you guys that I don't want to be taking more than 2 trades in a day on the live. It's kind of a discipline thing. I'm fighting my my over trading tendencies. So we'll see. Daniel says, agree, 100% agree. H1 is not a setup either. All right, very good. Not a setup. So we are in agreement there. All right, if we look at our trend line, we'll see that we are reacting to the previous lows. So support is becoming resistance. Let's go back to a lower time frame. So you see what's happening here is, I don't know if you guys know Linda Rashke. Sorry. great trader in Market Wizard's book. She talks about pockets. So you want to be looking at previous pockets. So if we're looking at pockets, I'll do a little drawing right there. Let's get this out of the way. Too many drawings, guys. H4YM, not fighting, not engulfing. All right, I'm gonna look at YM just in a sec, but I just want to show the chat this. Yeah, we don't need our area of interest anymore. So let's get this out of the way. All right, so here's what I want to show you guys. If we take our trend line and gradually move it up, right? So this is the first test, and then we test higher. We will see that our retests line up with this pocket right here, right? And this is what Linda Rashke talks about. This is why I use combinations of both trend lines, and horizontal levels, and where they both intersect is where I want to interact, is because it's giving you interesting information. If you're looking at this pocket and you're looking at the trend line and you're considering enter short, that is one check in your favor, but that is one check moving diagonally. Sorry. Now, if you want to look at horizontal levels, you can look at previous levels, and we can look at, hey, yesterday I had my area of interest here, and you could see that, okay, we are right below this area of interest, which is the possible resistance. So we have things intersecting, and we could consider, scalping short there. So this might be a reversal pattern. We will see. As long as we're not able to get back in this area right there. So if it's a true reversal, we will, maybe move back into this area, maybe retest again and continue to move up. If that happens and we're making, higher highs and higher lows, then this is a true reversal pattern. And then we will have this pocket to contend with. And if we're able to break through this pocket, then it's a true reversal and we will go and retest the highs. But so far, the bears have control. And then we talked about our opening range and how this was a really nice opening range breakdown trade, and how nicely, we had a nice, if you shorted here and risked the previous highs, you had a nice one-to-one trade. So yeah. Trading Sardines by Linda, about her trading life. Good read. Nice. I've heard about the book. I haven't read it. I just, I've listened to a lot of her talks on YouTube, and I've seen her on different platforms, and of course read about her in the Market Wizards book. So yeah, great trader. I like the fact that she's one of those rare female traders that has had a lot of success. This is a very male dominated industry, and I like to see women doing well in the area. That's why, for example, I'm happy when Airplane Jane comes on. It's always refreshing to read about traders in general, but a female trader doing well, and her style of trading resonates with me. So yeah, I like that about her. And yes, like Daniel is saying, do you have any questions about Black Arrow or futures trading? Let me know. I can show it live. Anything. Yes, there are no dumb questions, guys. You could ask me anything. Don't be shy. Let us know in the chat. I will let you know, and I will talk about it for you. So while things are moving around here, if you want to look at something in particular, you can let me know. I just want to go back and touch on yeah, she had a lot of success with the MACD. That is true, Stuart. She had a lot of success with the MACD. I don't use it. I used it at the beginning when I was a beginner trader, and I was using all kinds of indicators, but I don't use it anymore. My dream is to trade like this. My dream is to trade with nothing on the chart, and eventually you'll probably see me doing that. Nothing but candles and probably volume on the chart. My dream is to trade just, well, not my dream, but what I aspire to is to have completely naked charts. So we'll see. I have my pivot points there. So since we talked about it with Jane, let's see if we can pull them up and see how we reacted to these levels. Where is it? Pivot points. Why are they not showing? Oh, there they are. Pivot points. So the pivot points for, man, so many lines. Let's see if we can hide the studies. Okay. So these are pivot points. We'll put a 15 minutes so we can see better. So nice. Pivot points this morning would have been interesting here. And then we have this pivot point there, which we are sort of reacting off of. And here. All right. So we have Serene saying your screen size is too small to read numbers. The numbers are not visible. Any font setup could be done on your side to make it bigger. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. Are you saying the numbers on here are too small? Let me see if I could fix that. Well, so we're gonna go into chart settings. Wait, let me go into chart settings. All right, no problem at all. We are here for you, so we want you to see everything. Wait. More settings. Chart visibility. Can't remember exactly where that is. I'm looking for the hmm, appearance. That's what I'm looking for. Spacing. Where is the font size? All right, so we got the color. I have the default chart. I know I can enable scales background. I know I can enable it here. How did I enable this again? By the way, guys, I'm learning on the fly. There we go. Text. And we'll make this 12. Okay, maybe 12 is too small. Let's do 14. All right, how about now? Let me know if you could see it better. We have some buying right now happening. Let's put our studies back on. All right, so moves are happening and it's kind of doing what we discussed. Whereas if we saw, if this was a true reversal, we would want this to kind of start moving up and stair stepping up. So we'll see what happens there. Does anyone else think Black Arrow is really buggy on a Mac? Well, unfortunately, I haven't tested it on Mac. I'm using Windows. I used to be a Mac user back in the day, but I've converted back. I've came back to the dark side, if we want to say it like that. So I haven't tested it on Mac, unfortunately. Excuse me, guys. All right. So let me know in the chat. Let me know if you want me to take, because I've taken my two trades of the day and we still have an hour to go. So let me know if you want me to take another one, if you want me to find another setup live or not. So let me know in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. How is the stream going? You know what? Let me check the stream on another source because I want to see how we're doing. We have what? We have 13 likes, but we have 23 people watching. I need more likes, guys. Let's see if we can reach 20 likes. And if we can reach 20 likes, I'll take another trade if I see a setup. Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, we were supposed to have a guest today. We had Andy coming in. Let me just check on Andy because let me text him real quick. Maybe he has some technical issues. Andy Owings was supposed to be here, so we'll see. We'll see if he makes it. Appearance chart from title bar and down. You can change the side of the font. All right. Let's see chart. Wait. Settings. More settings. Appearance chart. Yeah, I think we're good. We changed the text size. Let me exaggerate. Let me put it at like 24. I think there everybody could see it. Let me know. Title bar text, title bar, chart background, scroll list, title bar. Wait, text. There we go. Title bar. Oh, that's what we're talking about. Okay. All right. Title here. The title bar is bigger, but I think he was talking about this part right here. So I think everything's good. I made the text here bigger at like 24. So I think it'll work for everybody. We're reacting nicely again at those levels, and maybe we're gonna see another move down. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. This is interesting to me. Let's see what happens there. Are we going to continue lower or will we reverse long? On the higher time frame, this is a nice reaction. Let's zoom out. We haven't looked at the other assets, so let's go to gold. Gold still moving sideways. So yeah, we're still in that sideways action. sideways movement. So we'll see what happens on gold in the next hours and days. And then we've had a nice reversal on oil for my oil traders. So yeah, we continue to move up after we had that fake news come out. We started reversing. So Daniel is saying select price scale from that list, then you get price. Show big when changing font if needed. Okay. Let me do that right now. So sorry, we'll do settings, more settings, chart, appearance, and then price scale. Ah, there we go. That's what we were looking for. Man, you know everything, Daniel. I thought once I used the font, everything was gonna change. All right, we got bigger prices now, so I think everybody should see better. So who had asked? Sreen Sanths. So let me know if that size is better for you and if you could see it now. All right, let's go back to our friend the Qs. Well, again, we reacted. So let me zoom back in. You see how we continue to react to the bottom of this trend line, right? So now the question is, are we going to test these initial lows again? Are we going to go test these? Are we going to grab liquidity under them, or are we just going to continue to trend lower, right? Full disclosure, I didn't take this on the live account, but I did take this short on my personal account. So we'll see if this trade works out. So entered about here, risking those prior highs. We'll see what happens. So if we're measuring from the opening range, right, we had this break, retest, move down, then we're oscillating within this range, right? We're oscillating within these levels. And you see they're buying again here. We'll see if we can continue to push lower or not. So if we look here, we are still inside this range. So what we want to see is, okay, are we going to break lower and continue? So are we going to retest maybe this area right there and continue? So continue and break lower and do kind of a similar pattern like we did this morning, or we won't be able to push lower. Buyers will step in and will move higher. This is what we are going to find out, because if it's important for us to zoom in and look at the higher time frame. So let's go to an hourly chart. On the hourlies, look at this. This is so far still pretty bearish. We're halfway into the hourly candle, more or less, almost halfway. We're about 23 minutes in, and we've seen, complete rejection so far. So, in my opinion, the likelihood of this continuing lower is much higher than this continuing higher, no pun intended. So, we'll see. We will see. Let's see what happens there. Let's look at the ES real quick. What is the ES doing? ES as well, moving lower. Now it's let's put it on an hourly chart. Yeah, same reaction on the ES. Let's look at so to in my opinion, there's quite a bit of room for this to continue to move lower. Now, it might do it over a period of a couple of days, but yeah. All right, Daniel is telling me to check oil. Let's check oil. What's going on in oil? All right, we're back at the 95s. we're moving we're moving nicely. We're moving nicely. I mean, this is a nice nice recovery from those initial lows. This is a crazy move. Like I was talking about earlier how, when these uncertain things happen, how the ranges expand. And I could just show you visually, let's go to an hourly chart and we're going to look at visually how the ranges expand. So this was the week prior, right? And this is how we were trading. This is the ranges we were getting, more or less, right? So we're, like I was mentioning earlier, we're getting, a point and a half more or less. So breaking news, I guess, new leader in Iran says Hormuz to stay closed. All right. I usually have my breaking news here. Let me see. Let me pull it up. There's something called First Squawk on Twitter, and it gives you, updated news all the time. So I like to look at it when I'm trading. So, yep, 10 minutes ago, commander of Iran says in response to supreme leader, we will deliver the most severe blows to the aggressor enemy by maintaining the strategy of keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed. Well, what does that mean, my friends? It means that oil prices are going to continue to rise. So, like I was saying, the ranges are expanding considerably. So we had this at point 60, and then now we got an expansion of the range, right? And now, if we compare, we have a bigger expansion of the range. So great move on oil. Unfortunately, with this account, I can't really control the risk there. Can we trade micro oil? Let me check something. Yeah, we could trade micro oil. Man, oil is aiming. We're gunning for that $100 again on oil. $100 is really close. So we're gunning for that. This is a nice pullback. And I wouldn't be surprised if I see a really nice straight move gunning for that $100 around this level before we see consolidation again. I wouldn't be surprised if I see that. So we're gonna see oil. Oil's an interesting one, right? And we'll probably, as oil moves up, continue to see a drop in equities, right? Equities will most likely continue to drop as oil moves up. So, yep, interesting. Okay, we're retesting these initial lows there, but I wouldn't be surprised if we continue because of this breaking news to see, you know, equities to continue to push lower. So we'll see what happens there. We will see what happens. All right, guys, let me know in the chat who is watching from where. I know we have Spain in the house. I know we have China in the house. Where else are you watching us from? I know we have Sweden in the house, always in the house. So let us know where you're watching us from, guys. And let me know your opinion. Do you agree that if oil moves up, equities will push down? Do you think that we will test those $100 levels again? Let me know what you think, guys. All right, we got Costa Rica in the house. Nice, Mr. Wonderful. So Himbone XXX, nice from Costa Rica. We have Mr. Wonderful from Canada. Oh, is it the French Canadian side or where are you in Canada? I was in Canada. When was it? Last year. I was went to visit some friends up there. I was in Montreal for a while, and then I was in New Brunswick for a while also. Really nice people, the Canadians. I couldn't deal with the cold though. This cold is insane. But yeah, oil just hit high. All right, west side of Canada. All right, nice, nice, nice. Well, thank you. And we got Costa Rica in the house. How is your trading going today, guys? Were you able to catch any of these moves or no? What are you trading? Let me know. Yeah, we have that $100 level right there marked out, and we'll see. We'll see if it catches that MCL. Oh, not all time high. No, we know it's not all time high. It's days high, definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we gun for those for the that $100 level. It's 4 points away. For example, if we look here, we took what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to move for 4 points. So I wouldn't be surprised if in by the end of the day or tonight we get to those we go retest those $100 levels. Would not be surprised at all based on that headline. Then again, we have to be careful. Like I was mentioning earlier, we don't want to trade just based on headlines because they might be fake news, just like we had with the representative earlier. We don't want that to completely influence our trading. We want to be careful. We want to watch for rumors. So yeah. All right, we're moving down nicely, guys. We're moving down nicely. That would have been if we well, that is actually on my personal account a 2-to-1 trade, which I'm still holding. Let me look at it real quick. Yeah, this is a nice trade for me right now. We're nearing my first take profit. So we're gonna take one contract out. Okay, so we got one contract out. And we are holding the rest to see if we could get that 3-to-1. See if we could go retest those 500s levels. So if we're measuring, measured move, how much of how much of a move was this? 93. We're almost at 100 points. So if we go on a higher time frame, if we look at this on a higher time frame, and if I take the drawings out, as we get those moves down, if we want to confirm it, we want our candles to start and expand. So we want the next candle after this one to be as large or larger than this one, right? So this one was, let's see, this one was about 83 points. So the next candle we could shoot for, of course, if the move is going to continue and going to accelerate. What is going on? All right. We want this candle to expand and, be maybe a 90 to 100 point candle and go test those 500 levels. If that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen decisively, then this is again a sign of a possible pullback. So it's 10:34. This is a 5-minute candle. We have or at least the candle after that, we wanted to significantly expand. So we'll see what happens there. And 30 seconds left on this candle. So we'll see if we can push lower and reach that target. Now, something to bear in mind if you're trading the NQ is that this represents two and a half R's if you were shorting this initial pullback. So for anybody who shorted here, when you measure, this is about 120 point move. So, you want to be careful. That's why I trimmed some off here and then I'm holding the rest to see if we can move lower. So, like I like to say, you have the payroll and then you have the bonus. So, this was my payroll. I took my profit. I ensured I had a good trade, and then the rest is just extra. All right, so we have a question here. Hey, we got people watching in South Carolina. Before I take the question, hello, South Carolina. How you guys doing? All right, so since I'm in China, one more question. Does the Fivers allow VPN, VPS usage? Consider I have to use VPN to access TradingView, YouTube, etc. That is a good question. I'm going to investigate that specifically for the future side. um, Usually, when you're using the same VPN, you shouldn't have any issues. But I'm gonna investigate that for you. Are you on our Discord, Butterkeeper? If you're on our Discord, you should probably ask that question on our Discord, and we could answer it for you. But that's definitely something I'm gonna check out, and yeah, I'll let you know if that is an issue or not. But we have well, in Asia, we have a lot of in the Asian area. We have a lot of traders in India. We have traders in Japan. Um, so I know we have traders in Asia, but I know China is has its own rules when it comes to the internet and who they allow. So I'll check that for you. And if you're on our Discord, I'll answer there. And if you are not, you should be. And if not, I'll probably answer that next time we are live. So a nice move down, guys. Nice move down. We'll see if this candle can continue and expand the displacement to the downside. Let's take a quick look at the Dow. So Daniel was right. Daniel was saying, remember this morning when we saw this wick down there, right? And then we kind of reverse up. Daniel was saying, hey, we kind of maybe need to close above this previous high. If we don't close above this previous high after this candle, then it's probably a fake out. Well, guess what? He was right because we faked out and then we reversed lower. So if we look at this on an hourly candle, sorry, on an hourly time frame, that's what he was talking about. He was saying that, hey, you know, based on his studies, based on what his statistics show, if after this, where's my arrow? If after this candle, the next one doesn't close above this next hourly one, well, then we'll continue moving down. And so far, that's what has been happening, guys. We have been continuously moving lower on the indices, also fueled by this move on oil, right? As oil pushes up, we are moving down. We could pull up TradingView and do a comparison chart and see. Let's put two charts side by side. We're gonna have um, oil on one side. We're gonna put this on a daily chart. Let me hide my drawings. And then we're going to put the ES right next to it. And we're going to put this on the daily chart as well. So this, oh, sorry, this has been the move on the ES, right? You see how we've been pushing lower and inversely correlated crude oil futures, right? I mean, I saw a tweet earlier that said that if this was the chart of a stock, that they would be buying it. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we continue and go check those $100 levels and probably move higher. Let's look at, we're going to zoom out and look at how the asset was when when Ukraine happened, right? Let's look at oil back when Ukraine happened. Ukraine was in 2022 when the war started over there. And that's the last time we saw $100 levels. So it would be around here and around here. And this is the reaction we got on oil. Not quite. So we had that blow off, sort of a blow off, something that looked like a blow off top, right? But then we reconquered it right there, right? Of course, this is a daily chart. So if we compare this and then we went back down and went and retested those levels again. So history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So I would not be surprised if we go ahead and go test these prior highs again, right? Depending, of course, on how the situation continues to evolve in Ukraine. And since we're talking about geopolitics, I'm going to bring something on screen really quick because I want you guys to see. This is what we talked on about on our presentation yesterday on the Discord, right? The 10 rules to trade during geopolitical events. The first thing you want to do is reduce your position size. You want to rotate to stable instruments. So, for example, on Monday, I was trading the ES instead of the NQ. I was using it as a proxy because the moves on the NQ were too wild for me. So that's what you want to do. You want to trade things where you can control your risk. And then you want to shorten your holding time. You can see I'm scalping. You can, at least on the live account, you want to react to price. You want to, not cliches. So, breaking news happens. Yes, we just saw that Strait of Hormuz news, but we don't want to just trade based on that, right? We know we want to, of course, we don't have liquidity problems with futures, but if you were trading stocks and things like that, it would be a consideration to have if you were trading small caps, etc. Wider stops, smaller size, which is exactly what I've been doing. You want to use inflection points and key areas to enter and exits. You want to monitor correlated or uncorrelated assets. And you can see here as oil is moving up, the indices are moving lower. So something to keep in mind. And then, most of all, you want to stay flexible and neutral. So we talked about that yesterday on the Discord. Did a little presentation on that. I could show you really quick things we talked about. This was the CPI print and how you didn't want to necessarily depend on the news to trade because if you went long there, you would have been stopped out. What did we touch again? We showed how correlations matched. So how those safe havens, the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, and gold all went down at the same time, most likely because people had to answer to margin calls. Some people had wanted to go into cash to be able to redeploy. So even though these are safe haven assets that will eventually go higher in the long run, especially gold, in my opinion, you want to be careful of what you do. And then when I'm talking about using proxies to trade, wait, I see some action on the Qs. Let me just take a quick all right. So just one sec. I'll bring this back. I want to look at the cues since we're moving back up, or we seem to be reversing. Wow, guys, look at man, today is a fun day for me. Today is a fun day for me. You know, trading is kind of like a video game for me. So I like, even when I'm not in the trade, I like when my trade idea works well. You see how and by the way, I just closed my other trade, my personal trade. I just closed there. So 2-to-1 trade for me overall on my personal account. But look at how we tapped into this level here. This is, can you see this guy? Let me zoom in. This is beautiful for me. You know, this is great. When I have an idea and that idea works out beautifully, it makes me happy when I'm trading. You know, this morning we had the initial, reversal that we started catching. Then we quickly realized that nope, this is ORB breakdown, retest, short again. We caught that short, and then we got out exactly at these lows. Let me put the executions just so you guys could see, executed, exited right here at the lows, right? And then on my personal account, entered the short here, 3-to-1 right here. This is beautiful, guys. I really like that. So we're doing a reversal here. Let's see if there's news. Whoa, this is interesting. Let's see if there's news. Let me look really quick, really quick, really quick. Evacuation warning. All right, there's definitely something happening right now. Let's see. Natural gas storage. So German chancellor. Israeli military issues evacuation warning. That was 22 minutes ago. We have volume coming in. That is an interesting trade. All right, so we're retesting these previous levels here, but is this going to be a reversal? And as this is moving up, we're going to take a quick look at oil. By the way, Butterkeeper, Daniel says he's going to check that VPS VPN answer for you on support. You know, Daniel is our super mod on our Discord. So we'll see what happens there when he comes back with an answer. Okay, so I can't find any specific news. Maybe it's going to come over. Let me refresh that. See if there's any specific news. Okay, so there we go. Trump administration set to suspend Jones Act to tame oil prices. And I can almost bet that oil, as we kind of reversed on the NQ right now. Where's oil? CL, CL, CL. It's the micros. Yeah, you see, we kind of pulled back there. We kind of pulled back. So as oil started moving down again on that breaking news, well, we could have used that as a reverse indicator on the cues. And yep, we tapped into resistance and we're moving back down. So that's why these days you don't want to stay too long in trades if you're day trading, right? Because headlines are moving markets. Butterkeeper says, thank you. All right. I hope Daniel can find the answer. And here we go. Man, Daniel is super fast. I'm going to start calling you super fast Daniel. So Daniel says, We allow VPN so you can keep using it. Should check with the guys in the know. So there you have it. Well, there you have it, guys. We have the answer on live today. If you are trading with a VPN or a VPS, it is totally possible. So no problem there. You can totally do that. No issues whatsoever. All right, so we tapped into resistance and we are already moving down. So, did anybody catch any moves today? Did anybody, let me know. Let me know. We have Canada in the house. We have Costa Rica in the house. We have Sweden in the house. We have Spain in the house. We have China in the house. Let me know if we caught any moves. And if you did, we got the air DJ air horn for you. All right. We got the applause for you if you caught any nice moves today. All right. I'm actually going to give myself a little applause because I was happy. I was happy about these trades we got. And yeah. And unfortunately, we didn't get the comments. I asked you guys, did you want me to take any other trades? But we didn't get anyone. So Butterkeeper says that's wonderful, especially for me. All right, that is great. So you can keep using that VPN. Mr. Wonderful says 1-2, lost one, made $47. Both take profit were too small. You said 1-2, lost one. All right. Well, hey, the amount really doesn't matter. The dollar amount, what you're I don't know how long you've been trading, but what's important is, did you do the right thing? Because you make the process you use to make 50 bucks is the same process you're going to use to make 500, and it's this same process you're going to use to make 5,000. So what's important is, are you following your plan? Are you executing correctly? You said the take profits were too small, but were they accurate? That's what you need to think about. So you said 1-2, lost one. Hey, that's good accuracy there, right? That's above 50% accuracy. So that's great. Don't worry about the dollar amount. Just worry about your execution. If you executed right, if you followed your plan, if you were disciplined, then that is great. You won overall today. The dollar amount does not matter. Right. If we're talking about dollar amounts on the live, I'm trading with significantly smaller size than what I usually trade with. Because I'm doing 10 things at the same time. So the dollar amount doesn't matter. What we want to show here is, how do you trade well? How do you take good trades? And of course, we're gonna make mistakes. And how do we come back from those mistakes? So props on you, Mr. Wonderful. I think it is wonderful that you made $47, and the dollar amount doesn't matter as long as you did the right thing. Let me give you a little clap right there. Applause for you, Mr. Wonderful. Okay, so we are seeing the Nasdaq holding. Let's look at. We haven't looked at the ES too much today. Let's look at the ES. All right. Interesting how we tapped into these levels 3 times. So that marked out level I had this morning. We tapped into it, here, then again here on the breaking news. And I think that's when that move was due to that Trump thing, saying, suspend Jones Act to tame oil prices. I guess these guys are realizing, hey, we kind of messed up. Oil is going sky high. I need to double check at the pump here in the US, but I think I saw, like a 20-cent increase last week already. So, at the pump. And you know, we don't want to see gasoline prices go up too high. So we'll see. I think these guys are trying to get things back under control. Let's see how gold reacted to that. All right. Move down on gold like the indices. And let's go back to our friend the Qs. So we're holding nicely here. So we'll see what happens there. But yep. All right, looking there. All right, guys, we got 5 minutes to go. Ask me any question you want to know. Again, thank you, Daniel, for checking. I'm just going to put this comment right here again. I want to remind you that we allow VPNs. You can keep using it. So let me know. Let me know if you have any final questions. We have about 5 minutes left to go on the live. I didn't put any music today. I'm gonna get some good background music to kind of keep things going. All right, this is too slow. It's gonna. This is too fast. All right, no music today. No music today. We'll get some good music soon. And I hope you had your coffee. I'm having a little bit here. This is decaf, by the way. Um, yeah, I enjoy the warmth of coffee, but I can't be drinking too much. So if I have my regular cup of coffee, then I have some decaf, and it's in my Fivers cup, so makes it taste even sweeter. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you so much. It's great having you be there. It's great exchanging ideas with you. I'm glad we had a really good session today. I think the trading was on point. I really liked it. So yeah, definitely a fun one for me personally. Unfortunately, our guest didn't make it, but don't worry. Next week we're coming. We will have um we will have plenty of guests next week. We're going to have Victor from the Fivers FX channel come through. We're going to have Samir from the Fivers FX come through, both great traders. Samir actually got me to bring my trading down to a couple trades a day. If you don't know, Samir is taking one trade a day and he's up over, last time I checked, he was up over 13%. So on the month. So Samir's great trader, Victor's a great trader, great ideas. They always bring great ideas to the table. Samir's actually a Dow Jones trader, so that's going to be interesting. And then we're also going to have Airplane Jane come through and share all her insights on the market. We will definitely have Steve that we had yesterday, Mr. Justify Your Trades come through. So next week is going to be a fun and exciting one. And I hope we get into some great trades again. And yeah, we'll see what happens there. So yeah, guys, take it easy. Remember, if you're unsure of what to do, don't trade. If you're not seeing things looking right, don't necessarily take the setup. We are living in uncertain times right now, at least in the trading world. So you want to scale down, you want to keep your size low. And yeah, man, success to everybody who's trading. I wish everybody a great end of their week. So let's run through these charts one last time. We're going to go higher time frame. We're going to look at everything. Let me just go there. Let me take out these executions. All right. Nice, 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 nice. Well, looking forward to it as well. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being a loyal watcher. All right. So we got the EQs that are probably going to keep on moving lower. We have, let's look at the ES hourly chart. ES is moving lower as well. We have oil ticking higher. And even though we had the news, we had a quick reaction. But besides that quick reaction, I think there's room for us to go tag those $100 levels again. And finally, gold is still, in my opinion, in a holding pattern until we break out of this area, this 100-point level. I don't think we're going to see any significant moves. When we do break out of them, yes, things might change. All right, guys. Thank you very much to everybody. Thank you, Daniel, as usual. Thank you to everyone around the world. This has been a fun first week. I'm glad we finished the week green. We finished the week positively. So I wish you the same. I will see you soon. And as usual, I will see you soon in the markets. Take care, guys.